Welcome to Legal English in Use and in Use. We continue working on the documents of the Venice Commission. Today, you will learn key vocabulary to use in discussing the draft joint opinion on the law of Ukraine on the condemnation of the communist and National Socialist Nazi regimes and prohibition of propaganda of their symbols. At the end of the second episode, you will learn also about the Venice Commission opinion on the law of Ukraine on justice reform. Check your pronunciation. Membership. Deal with. Prohibition. Program goals. Violent means. Violation.
Membership, deal with, prohibition, program goals, violent means, violation.
Repeat after the teacher. Membership, deal with, prohibition, program goals, violent means, violation.
Membership, deal with, prohibition, program goals, violent means, violation.
Repeat and remember the translation. Membership.
Членство.
Deal with.
Стосуватися.
Prohibition.
Заборона.
Program goals.
Програмні цілі.
Violent means.
Насильницькі засоби.
Violation.
Порушення. Membership.
Членство.
Deal with.
Стосуватися.
Prohibition.
Заборона.
Program goals.
Програмні цілі.
Violent means.
Насильницькі засоби.
Violation.
Порушення. Give your translation of the words. Membership. Deal with. Prohibition. Program goals. Violent means. Violation.
Membership. Deal with. Prohibition. Program goals. Violent means. Violation.
Give your translation of the words. Членство. Стосуватися. Заборона. Програмні цілі. Насильницькі засоби. Порушення.
Членство. Стосуватися. Заборона. Програмні цілі. Насильницькі засоби. Порушення.
You will have 30 seconds to recall the words and write down the list of them in your notebook. membership, deal with, prohibition, program goals, violent means, violation. How many words have you recalled? Define the words and write the definitions in your notebook. Membership. Deal with. Prohibition. Goals. Violent. Means. Violation. Here's a model for you. Program, a plan or system under which action may be taken toward a goal. Read the draft joint opinion on the law of Ukraine on the condemnation of the communist and National Socialist Nazi regimes and prohibition of propaganda of their symbols, to give the examples of the words in the sentences. Write the examples in your notebook. Membership. Deal with. Prohibition. Program goals. Violent means. Violation. Fill in the gaps in the sentences using the words from the list and write the answers in your notebook. Prohibition. Deals with. Membership. Violation. Program goals. Violent means. Develop your own sentences with the words from the list and write them in your notebook. Membership. Deal with. Prohibition. Program goals. Violent means. Violation. Memorizing new vocabulary is a huge part of learning a new language, yet it can be so difficult to accomplish. I want to share some tips which will make learning new vocabulary easier and more enjoyable. For example, try to remember not just a bunch of random English words, but some phrases. For instance, if you need to memorize the word judicial, try some word combinations. For example, judicial reform or judicial procedure. Thus, you will memorize the essence and the main meaning of the word. Check your pronunciation. Sovereignty, undermine, incitement, enmity, encroachment, judicial procedure.
Sovereignty, undermine, incitement, enmity, encroachment, judicial procedure.
Repeat after the teacher. Sovereignty, undermine, incitement, enmity, encroachment, judicial procedure.
Sovereignty, undermine, incitement, enmity, encroachment, judicial procedure.
Repeat and remember the translation. Sovereignty.
Суверенітет.
Undermine.
Підривати, руйнувати.
Incitement.
Розпалювання, підбурювання.
Enmity.
Ворожнеча.
Encroachment.
Посягання.
Judicial procedure.
Судовий порядок. Sovereignty.
Суверенітет.
Undermine.
Підривати, руйнувати.
Incitement.
Розпалювання, підбурювання.
Enmity.
Ворожнеча.
Encroachment.
Посягання.
Judicial procedure.
Судовий порядок. Give your translation of the words. Sovereignty. Undermine. Incitement. Enmity. Encroachment. Judicial procedure.
Sovereignty. Undermine. Incitement. Enmity. Encroachment. Judicial procedure.
Give your translation of the words. Суверенітет. Підривати, руйнувати. Розпалювання, підбурювання. Ворожнеча. Посягання. Судовий порядок.
Суверенітет. Підривати, руйнувати. Розпалювання, підбурювання. Ворожнеча. Посягання. Судовий порядок.
You will have 30 seconds to recall the words that you have learned and write them down in your notebook. Sovereignty, undermine, incitement, enmity, encroachment, judicial procedure. How many words have you recalled? Define the words and write the definitions in your notebook. Undermine, incitement, enmity, encroachment, judicial procedure. Here is a model for you. Sovereignty, the state of being a country with freedom to govern itself. Read the draft joint opinion on the law of Ukraine on the condemnation of the communist and National Socialist Nazi regimes and prohibition of propaganda of their symbols, to give the examples of the words in the sentences. Write the examples in your notebook. Sovereignty, undermine, incitement, enmity, encroachment, judicial procedure. Fill in the gaps in the sentences using the words from the list and write the answers in your notebook. Incitement, sovereignty, enmity, judicial procedure, undermining, encroachment. Categorize the highlighted words by the parts of speech. Produce as many parts of speech as possible from the given words. Here is a model for you. According to Article 37.4, the prohibition of the activity of association of citizens is exercised only through judicial procedure. Procedure is a highlighted word which is a noun. Adjective, procedural. Adverb, procedurally. The establishment and activity of political parties and public associations are prohibited if their program goals or actions are aimed at liquidation of the independence of Ukraine, the change of constitutional order by violent means, the violation of sovereignty and territorial indivisibility of the state, the undermining of its security, the incitement of inter-ethnic, racial or religious enmity, and the encroachment of human rights and freedoms and the health of the population. According to Article 37.4, the prohibition of the activity of association of citizens is exercised only through judicial procedure. Develop your own sentences with the words from the list and write them in your notebook. Sovereignty, undermine, incitement, enmity, encroachment, judicial procedure. The Venice Commission is an advisory body. The documents which it issues are not of a binding nature. Their nature is just advisory. Failure to comply with the opinion issued by the Venice Commission does not entail any sanctions. However, assessment of constitutional and other legal acts by the Venice Commission is a true indicator whether the path chosen by the state is in line with European standards and values. And now you will watch a video from which you will learn the Venice Commission opinion regarding the law on judiciary reform in Ukraine. After watching the video, be ready to discuss it.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jason L. Jones and you're watching Head to Head with UATV. The Venice Commission assessed the amendments to the legal framework in Ukraine. The Commission concluded that recent legislative changes in Ukraine's judiciary system, in particular the cutting of the number of judges of the Supreme Court of Ukraine, poses a threat to its stability and independence. To discuss this, we are joined in the studio today by Stepan Burko. He is the Advocacy Manager at De Jure Foundation. Hello, and thank you for joining us. So, first and foremost, for our viewers at home who aren't familiar with the Venice Commission, can you explain to us briefly what it is and what's the significance of its conclusion?
Yeah, so the Venice Commission is a body that is formed by the member states of the Council of Europe, and its primary objective is to assess the legislative changes in the members of the Council of Europe, whether they comply with the standards of the European countries. I mean, the Council of Europe, the standards of the European Court of Human Rights. And in case you described, the Venice Commission was assessing the draft law 193 that amended some provisions of the law on the judiciary and the law on the High Council of Justice.
Okay. And so, do you have any criticism about the law, the commission, or?
My organization and our partners from other civil society organizations, we criticized some provisions of the law, especially those concerning the cutting the numbers of the Supreme Court judges and establishing a new competition for the new Supreme Court. And these are the provisions the Venice Commission has criticized as well. So it's no surprise that we received this opinion. On the other hand, the Venice Commission welcomed some provisions regarding the relaunching of the High Qualification Commission of Judges and some instruments for cleaning the High Council of Justice. These two bodies of judicial governance are very important in terms of cleaning the judiciary, and these bodies decide who is in the system and who is not. The Venice Commission welcomed the provisions that provide for cleaning these bodies because there are some corrupt members in these bodies, and actually the fact that we haven't seen a big success in the judicial reform in recent years, it's because of these bodies and some misconduct their members have done.
Okay. In what ways do you think they've interfered with the process?
The answer is very, easy. They have appointed those who are corrupt judges or in the integrity of which there are serious doubts, and they have not punished any of the judges that have clearly made some misconduct previously. For example, judges from the Maidan times when they were pursuing the activists, and it was clearly stated in some decisions of the European Court of Human Rights. The High Council of Justice didn't react on these cases. So these are the bodies that are responsible for where we are now in the judicial reform. Some in Ukraine are trying to interpret the decision of the Venice Commission as in a way that the Venice Commission totally didn't like the changes in the law. However, it's not, the Venice Commission doesn't give a simple answer to all the questions. It is always assessing what is bad and what is good, and it has clearly said that cutting the Supreme Court does not comply with the principle of the independence of the judiciary. However, those instruments for cleaning the judicial governance bodies, they have to be used, especially in terms that those instruments provide for international experts to participate in the process of cleaning these judicial governance bodies.